Hello Minecrafters and welcome to the video. In today's video I would like to build a squid farm. Now the squid farm that I chose to design was from Ray, and that farm makes use of axolotls. So that meant I need to build an axolotl farm also. Luckily Ray has one of those as well. So a cool little trick on top of that axolotl farm is tinted glass, which is kind of cool. So I want to use that, and tinted glass needs amethyst shards. So that is where we're going to start the video, hunting for some amethyst shards. So let's go. So Rex was kind enough to tag along on this little geo-finding mission, and luckily we knew where a geode was. It was near the in the stronghold where we found the end portal, but it took a little bit of time to find, but we eventually found it and we started digging it out. I didn't really know how we've done this. We've only seen a couple people in Hermitcraft do it. Basically, dig out a square around and reveal all sides of the amethyst bud blocks, and the rest can go. Those bud blocks are going to grow eventually into amethyst clusters, and when you mine those clusters, you get the shards. So yes, we eventually got this all mined out, and I spent a few hours mining shards, thinking that I needed that many, and I didn't. I had quite a few shards left over for everyone to use after that, which was good. So hopefully we don't have to waste too much time getting some shards when we need them again. So now that's all done, we've got the first bit needed for the first farm. We can move on to actually digging out the area for the axolotl farm. So it's a pretty decent hole by Minecraft standards. Took me a little while to build, and we decided to build it just outside the safe zone so that people can get their axolotls and glow squid. Yeah, that's right. This one also, as much as it makes axolotls, it's also a glow squid farm. So it's a bit of a double whammy on this one. Now I did dig a little bit more than I should have out, and that was a mistake, and I'll point that out when we get to the next clip. And there we have it, a hole in the ground. So here is the mistake I made. I tried to get fancy and build the walls out of stone brick. Now I got to the end and had to redo the walls and the inside parts, which was a bit of a pain, but Rex was kindly pointed out when it wasn't working, and he was reading the wiki that axolotls like to have a natural stone and dirt around them. So what I did was make something that they don't like to spawn in, which was a very big mistake. Also, you can see going in here is the water tunnel that will take the drops from the glow squid down into a chest, and the dirt going on the roof is for the water. And speaking of water, oh my goodness, did it turn out to be a pain. As you can see here, it starts off with the water traveling from one side of the farm to the other on top of those dirt blocks, and we just put in the water there for the elevator going down. But underneath that flowing water needed to be a whole room full of source blocks of water. So I've gone ahead and put some dirt down, and this is me trying to fill this room with solid blocks. Now, I did eventually get the room below filled with solid blocks, but then it came to the top. So the issue with the top is that nothing can interrupt the blocks that are flowing across, and you can see here, as soon as you stop one, it just makes a mess. So eventually I was filling in those source blocks that are coming across the top and starting again. So I ended up going with the kelp for this one. It was a very slow process, and even then I had issues as well, because the kelp surprisingly grew quite quickly. I forgot that it grew quickly, and when I went and cleared it out, it would grow up and make a source block where it didn't need to be. You can see that happening there, and then I had to go back and do it all again. So eventually we got there. The system was, I did what I just did and went through and cleared out all the kelp below the source block that I made as I went. So dig a hole, chop it down, dig a hole, chop it down, just so I knew that it wouldn't grow up to past the point where it would make another source block and ruin my day. So eventually we got there, it was filled, and we got the tinted glass on top. And with the tinted glass on top now, the axolotl started to spawn as well as glow squids. So I went ahead and collected about 10 of them in preparation for the squid farm. So the squid farm was just a little bit away from spawn over one of the hills, and it is done in a dry riverbed, but just for safety there was a few areas of river that needed filling in so the squid wouldn't spawn in the water either side of the area that I was going to put the squid farm in. So these are the areas that were still within the 128 block spawning radius on the AFK spot above the farm. The farm's getting built around this little puddle here. We still fill it in just for the sake of having solid blocks there. Once again, it's a rectangular hole, not quite as deep as the axolotl farm. I didn't learn my lesson. I dug the hole out a bit too wide once again, so I had to fill in some blocks once I was done. The same concept. Drops float to the surface and get pushed down a water ladder that is on the left into a chest for you to collect. And look what we've done here, learnt our lesson. Water goes across the top of ice blocks, so I can break the ice blocks and turn them into source blocks. And filling up the middle was easy as well, so I definitely learnt my lessons from making the axolotl farm. Here we go, nice and easy, chopping away those blocks. Very good. So here you see the squid is spawning already, and in go the axolotls. So eventually they kill the squid, and the drops come on through. They do have a cooldown, so the more in there, the more squid get killed, and you don't have to wait for the cooldown time on the killing to recycle. So there it is, guys, a squid farm and an axolotl farm in the one video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this kind of style, let us know as well. It was kind of fun to make, a little bit of voiceover. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!